Welcome to a new video. Today it's a bit more freestyling. I was thinking a lot about my journey in business, which is fairly new. I'm a beginner in this. But I've been thinking a lot about how I became what I am right now and what I'm currently doing. And I realized that there was no coincidence in the path that I've taken. So let me explain to you how it all started, what I did, what I'm doing, who I am, all those kind of deals. So I came to the United States after I graduated high school in Spain to come and learn at the best universities in the world, right? The United States back then and right now is the best place for opportunities in this capitalist system that we live in, which allows for a lot of opportunities, free markets, something that is not so common in other countries that I have frequented. So I came here to the United States looking for those opportunities and learning a new skill, which was advertising, and getting my degree from the University of SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design. So once I've done with that, I got a job in advertising in Chicago. And while I enjoyed doing my job as a copywriter, so I was the guy that was writing the ads and writing the ideas down, I realized that there was a lot of things that I would see in the briefs, or I would see in the way that a company was ran, or the way people would talk to each other, or simply the way the things were done, the processes. And I disagreed a lot. And I know this is something quite arrogant for an entry-level person, a 19, 20-year-old going into advertising, to be like, hey, I can do this better. But I really believed that I could do better because I saw a lot of people were unhappy with leadership. And not that I could do better, but I would get curious enough about the people that might work with me enough to where I would make better decisions that would make them happier employees. And not only that, but I also looked at the way advertising was ran and the kind of briefs that we would receive. And by the time we would receive a creative brief in an ad agency, it would have gone through so many marketing steps already, to the point where you would only get so much wiggle room for creativity and coming up with something new, or having any say as to what the overall strategy was, right? Because advertising is just a little part of marketing. And so I started becoming more and more involved in marketing, sales, and copywriting on the side. I started selling my services on Fiverr, on Upwork, and I was doing quite well on Fiverr, to the point where I could supplement an extra income, an entire extra income, to whatever I was making from the ad agency. Now, I started working for them in May 2020, in the middle of the pandemic. And I worked with that company up until November 2020. So for like 6 months, less than that. And what I learned throughout those months is that I really could take the skills that I was applying towards my agency job and not only monetize them 3 times more, but also choose the people that I wanted to help and how I wanted to help those people, right? So I could have more control over the decisions that I was going to make. And with that, in November, when I stopped working with them, I said, okay, I'm going to look for a new job. I spent an entire of 2 hours looking for a new job, after which I closed my computer and I was like, okay, how about growing a side hustle on the side, just so that in the meantime, when I'm looking for jobs, I can create some sort of income. Well, starting to work on Fiverr and delivering all the gigs that I was delivering to over 50, 60 clients showed me that I could make a lot more money, sustain myself, my family, my friends, by running my own business and making my own decisions, rather than having to use this skill as an agency worker, right? It was not the same. He was not getting the same big accounts. Maybe you're not getting the same opportunities of making cool commercials and working with big names, but I was getting to do whatever I wanted with whoever I wanted and get paid to do so quite well. And that was one of the reasons why I became a solopreneur, why I switched from an agency role to an actual business. So I never actually ended up looking for jobs again, although I started receiving quite a few job offers as I was going into my business, which is funny enough. When I stopped looking and started doing my own thing, I became so much more valuable to the work industry. But that's not the point here. The point is why I choose to become a solopreneur, an entrepreneur for now, which is, number one, decision making. And it's a double-sided coin, because when you're in an agency or a company, you have people on top of you, next to you, and underneath you that take care of certain decisions and tasks that you don't have to take care of, so you can focus on whatever you're specialized in. When you're an entrepreneur, especially at the beginning, dude, you're running everything. You're running your content, you're running your strategy, you're running your promotion, your branding, you're running your clients, you're running your finances, you're running your contracts. You have to figure out how to do an entire agency's worth of work just so you can keep surviving, because everybody else is already doing that, right? So that's the harder side of the coin. But it's also the sweet side of the coin, because if you're somebody who's curious about life, wants to learn a bunch of new skills, then you're definitely going to thrive in that space just like I did. And that brings me to the second point, which is consistency. Now, consistency of pay, benefits, and assurance that you're going to have money entering your account is sometimes, actually oftentimes, not something that you can reap off as a benefit when you're an entrepreneur. Some months are going to be great, some months are not going to be that great. Maybe a few months in a row are going to go really well, and then there's going to be absolutely no sales. And meantime, when you're in an agency, you know exactly what's going to happen. Maybe you're going to get kicked out, but you're going to probably find a new job. You kind of know the way things work. You keep turning in the work to the same people. Nothing is kind of there for you to play with, to grow, to change. And listen, that's not all the agencies, right? There's a lot of agencies that really take care of their employees. I'm saying my version of the story and what I think and what I've experienced. There's plenty of people that are working 9 to 5s that are much more happy than entrepreneurs who spend 15 hours a day, 16 hours a day working on stuff that are barely making them any money and just making them more and more ruined and more miserable. So my point is, it's not necessarily switch to becoming a business owner, is why I switched. So again, I was talking about decision making, and then I was talking about consistency. Although there's that inconsistency of pay and inconsistency of projects, it's what keeps you hungry. It's what keeps you on your toes. It's what keeps you from being self-complacent. Because when you don't know where the money is going to come from, yeah, there is certain anxiety that honestly it doesn't become anxiety. It becomes like a little exciting feeling, like when you bet on something. It becomes like an exhilarating feeling over time, because you know you're going to end up solving it. You know you're resourceful. You know your way out. You know you're going to be just fine. Even if this fails, you can do something else. So living with that uncertainty and becoming comfortable with it is, one, a byproduct of becoming an entrepreneur, but also a benefit to becoming one, because now you become more resourceful. You learn how to take care of your own problems and not have to go to somebody else for it. So that's my third point, becoming more self-dependent. Self-dependency is something that is crucial at the moment in the world, right? As we see governments doing shady shit, I'm not going to go into it, and logistics going down, and not really knowing what goes into the products and who are the brands behind it and who are we really paying to help us with things. You have to become more and more self-determined, self-sustaining, right? So to do that, you're gonna have to learn how to do certain things by yourself. And some of the things that I learned to do by myself in the year that I've been sidelined by my immigration status was how to take care of my taxes. At least the basics of it. At least know if somebody is messing around with me, like if the tax person's fucking around with me, or if they're really doing the best job that they can. And finances, because I don't want to have anybody looking at my finances, right? I want to be the owner of that. My self-management, my training, my nutrition, my supplementation, my mental health, it's self-determined and also self-sustained, self-designed, right? Self-relied upon. What other things? I'm just naming some stuff. For example, client acquisition, my own marketing. I have to acquire my own clients, close them, and then start working with them. And this is only at the beginning. As you scale and as you automate, you obviously get people to do certain things for you. You learn how to do stuff faster. You learn what things you must and must not do. But becoming more self-dependent as a byproduct of becoming an entrepreneur has made me realize how many other areas of my life I could become self-dependent in, so that in case of anything happening in the world, I know how to depend and how to survive by myself and how to take care of my people by myself without the need of external help, right? Now, I'm not saying I'm going to become a doctor, but obviously knowing how to keep yourself in a good shape, in good health, and knowing what to do when minor things happen rather than relying on a doctor, it's crucial for me, right? So those were the three things, decision making was one of them, becoming more self-dependent was one of them, and that exhilarating feeling of not knowing what's going to happen is something that I truly live for and something that I adore. And those are the three main reasons why I became an entrepreneur. That's all I wanted to share with you guys, and I wanted to ask you guys, why did you become an entrepreneur? Why are you doing this solopreneur adventure or entrepreneur adventure right now? Why are you in this? What is the purpose behind it? What attracted you to it? And what are some hardships that you're facing? I want to hear all about it, so let me know below. Have a good one.